First of all, I mean, I expect this from. Here's the thing: is that there are, and this plays into the comment in the chat room, but there are a lot of people at ETS who are what we would possibly say more soft towards the commandments. In other words, there's not a hard stop. Like now, and I'll give you for instance, like there's guys walking around like Mike Winger. You know, Mike Winger said hi to me and said, "Hey, Caleb, you know, good to see you," and so on and so forth. Well, Mike Winger notoriously put out a video, 2 years ago or whatever, on why the Hebrew roots is wrong. Now, of course, he's just lumping anyone who is Torah observant under the name Hebrew roots. So it was really a very long series on why you shouldn't keep Torah. Okay, so there are guys like that who are at ETS, and a lot of people are going to be like that, but you also have guys who are kind of softer towards the commandments. It's like, oh, you know, what's going on here? And so I expect this from Block, but I still see Block as the almost bridging the gap between the Mike Wingers and the Pronomian front, if you will. Now, the comment by the John 17 Project is ETS seems to be very one-sided when it comes to Torah from your annual reports. Maybe I'm off, but that's how it sounds sometimes. So I will respond to this. Yeah, of course, because what you have is 5,000 to 6,000 people at the ETS who are evangelicals. They are mainstream evangelicals. You're going to see people like Lyndon Duncan walking around. You're going to see people like sometimes John Piper will be there. You're going to see people who are, Wayne Grudem walked by me multiple times. So, I mean, you have these guys who are in the evangelical theological world. They're giants. They're huge giants. And so, of course, out of 5,000 or 6,000 people, what you're going to have is you're going to have probably 99.9% of them are going to say that the Torah has been done away with. Now, even the people who are Torah curious or Torah friendly are still going to say that. Right? So, for instance,
I don't know if that's been used before by you, Caleb, but I never.
Okay. So obviously, you know, you have people like Roy Gain walking around. Roy Gain is a Seventh-day Adventist. By the way, the TorahResource Pronomian Conference coming up on the 15th of December. Roy Gain is going to be one of our keynote speakers. Now, he's going to say to you, now, someone told me that Roy Gain actually celebrates the festivals. I don't know if that's true or not, but the point here is simply that Roy Gain, at least he's keeping the Sabbath. Now, he is a Seventh-day Adventist, so we could quibble over these things, but he's going to be more Torah, supporting Torah than your average evangelical Christian, right? Richard Averbeck is usually at the ETS, and Averbeck has written this book right here, which is called The Old Testament for the Life of the Church. Now, in this, he specifically responds to a messianic Jewish perspective, and he does not take it. However, what Averbeck is trying to do, like Block and like others within this sphere, is they're trying to say, look, there is some good here. Like the Torah is, we might think it's done away with, but Christianity has not given the Torah its due, like where it should be. They've shunned it too much. In other words, we should allow the Torah to direct us in our theology and in our life. And so for that, I would say I'm very grateful. When it comes to Torah observant believers, Benjamin Frostad was there and he presented in the Luke Acts section, and his paper I thought was fantastic. He did a phenomenal job. There's other people who were there who were what we would consider to be very pronomian in terms of, keeping a kosher diet, keeping the festivals, keeping the Sabbath, right? We had Ben and his friend Yaakov come up into our room and for Erev Shabbat. We had a wonderful time sitting around and chatting. Now, are we going to agree on everything? Of course, the answer is no, but there is a pronomian front at the ETS and SBL. Out of all of the, Tim Sigler, Dr. Sigler is one who I would say is leaning pronomian. He might not fully be where we're at, but he's leaning that way and has, he's a Sabbath keeper and so on and so forth. So there are people there. Out of 6,000 people Let's just say that the number is 6,000. I don't think it was that many this year. I think it was a little light this year. I would say that out of 5,000 to 6,000 people, you're probably looking at about 10 to 15 people who are fully pronomian at the conference. So of course, yes, it's going to lean very, very not pronomian heavy. But the number continues to grow. Think about this. Back in the early 2000s, there was one person who was pronomian at these conferences, and it was my dad. Continue listening to this conversation by clicking the full show link on the left side of your screen, or check out the video on the right that YouTube thinks you'll like. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you never miss content from Messiah Matters.